and welcome to my newsletter for September of 2022. This is Mike Daniels of Rancho Costa Properties, and I'd like to talk to you today about the return of the buyer's market. So, a buyer's market can best be determined by how many months of supply that we have. So, what you do is you take the total number of listings that have sold versus the total number of listings that are actively for sale, and you divide those into each other, and that gives you the monthly supply. So I ran some numbers yesterday, and when we reach a 5-month supply, that indicates a buyer's market or a balanced market, and that's a good thing for buyers and sellers. Right now, we are still in a seller's market for the most part, and let me share these numbers with you. So in 92054 in Oceanside, we have a current housing supply of 1.72 months. In Carlsbad 92009, we have a supply of 2.04 months. In Encinitas, we have a current supply of 1.69%. And the numbers kind of go up as you get into the higher digit houses. So in Rancho Santa Fe 92067, we have a current housing supply of 5 months. So in Rancho Santa Fe, we do have a balanced buyers and sellers market. 92037 La Jolla, we're at 3.15. So all in all, we are in a very solid market. So this is not some sort of video that I'm making on the housing market crashing. I just don't think that's going to happen anyways. So let me talk to you about if you currently have a house for sale or you're thinking about selling a house, let me give you some solid strategies today to get it sold. Okay, so here we go. I want to give you a snapshot of what I've been reading about on Zillow, CoreLogic, Realtor.com, other agents out there that are actively in the field like myself, and this is what I came up with. Okay, so 31%, first one on the list. These are things that are currently going on in the market. 31% of buyers in July and August offered below asking price on the houses that they bought. So 1/3 of the sellers last month actually dropped their prices below the asking. Rising inventory motivated them. And as recently as March, this research shows that 18% of sellers sold below the asking price. Number two, 32% of sellers dropped their price because the home didn't meet the appraisal. So in other words, they found a buyer who was willing to pay what they were asking for the home, but the house just didn't appraise. Number three, 92% of sellers accepted some buyer-friendly terms. So that means like they paid for closing costs, they paid for repairs, they paid to help the buyer buy down the interest rate. So 92% of sellers are offering incentives. Now these are homes that are in escrow. Okay, 100%, number four, 100% of sellers are agreeing to make at least some repairs. If they don't, the buyer in this market usually walks. Number five, 84% of sellers are paying higher commissions to the buyer's agent. So last year and the years before, we were seeing like the listing commission offered to the buyer's agent of 1%, 2%, somewhere in there, 2.5%. Now we're seeing that the sellers are offering 3%, 4%, 4.5%, because they know that agents are just like anybody else, and they have bills to pay, car payments, kids to send to college, and if they can attract more buyers by bringing them, by offering higher commissions and getting them to show their listing, then it doesn't cost the seller anything until the house sells. And let's be honest, you're probably going to accept a lower than the asking price for the home anyways. All right, so higher commissions, definitely a thing. Number six, mortgage rates have increased, so buyers are kind of payment sensitive. So if you bought a house for $1 million last year or the year before, and the interest rate was 3%, then the mortgage payment was probably somewhere around $6,000 a month. This year they're looking at 5%, so about 2% more, and the mortgage payment for that same house, even if it was priced the same, that same house in mortgage payment has almost doubled. So buyers are very sensitive to the interest rates. Okay, number seven, CoreLogic is calling for price increases over the next year of 5.8%, which is pretty conservative and in line with what I've said in the past on these videos. And Zillow is forecasting 14.9% year over year next year. But Zillow and the Zestimate and the whole Zillow website, there have been pretty inaccurate historically anyway. So if I were you and you want a solid number to go by, I would go by CoreLogic's 5.8% would be most likely to happen. Okay, so what else I have here is it's easy to see how there's a disconnect between the buyers and the sellers with this type of data being out there. Buyers are hearing interest rates are going up and prices are coming down, and sellers, for the most part, still have their heads in the market of last year and the year before. So everybody knows the market shifts. It shifts we're constantly in a shifting market, whether it's shifting up or shifting down. But the last thing you want to do is not listen to the data. The data suggests that buyers need these incentives and their agents need the commission increases. So we need to get warm bodies in your door so they can look at the house and possibly make an offer on it. Okay, so let's take a look at the top 3 things that I recommend that you do if you want to sell your house in this market, in this leveling off buyers market that we're in September of 2022. Okay. Um, First thing, you got to have an accurate asking price for the house. So, come up with that first. If you need help figuring that out, let me know. I can run the numbers, tell you what the house might be worth, and in the best case scenario. Okay, so I'm not a big advocate if you already have the home listed. I'm not a big advocate in reducing the price. I think if you reduce the price, you just welcome lower offers. So you can do things behind the scenes to make your property more saleable. And here's what I would do. I would offer a higher commission to the buyer's agent. So offer 3 or 4%. Believe it or not, that will get agents calling you, calling your agent and getting them in. So you leave the listing agent's commission the same. Whatever you're paying him or her, that's not even part of it. You're offering the buyer side more commission. Okay, you're appealing to the greed. All right, the incentive. Okay, the next thing is I would offer to pay up to a certain percentage for buyers' closing costs. So let's use the $1 million house again. For $1 million house, I would offer somewhere around $12,000 to $15,000 to pay for buyers' closing costs. Buyers can use that money to buy down the interest rate. They can use it to pay their closing costs, escrow and title. They can use it to um, pay other charges like appraisal, all those types of things. Then they can also use that money to reduce the purchase price of the home if they want to. Okay, so with cash buyers who don't need a loan, they can use that money for whatever they want to. All right, so those are the top 3 things. Don't price reduce, offer a higher buyer commission, agent's buyer commission, and give a buyer incentive to the actual buyer, him or herself, and help them pay for the closing costs. If you do those 3 things, I guarantee you'll get more people in the front door. And I hope this helps. If you have any questions on the price of your home or thinking about possibly selling one of your income properties or any other property, or you know someone, have them talk to me first. I'll set them straight. Okay. I wish you all the best in September and hope you had a great summer. All right. Mike Daniels, Rancho Costa Properties. Bye bye now.